Hey, what's going on, everyone? There is 4 distinct and very important ways that you can really get the most out of your mentor. Maybe you call it your coach, maybe you call it your professor, whatever this person is. Mentor is the most effective coach. Mentor is the most effective professor. If someone who is a mentor is the most effective boss or leader on your team. And these are the 4 ways that you, the mentee, the receiver, can get the most out of it. Now, before we let it rip, I'm keeping the Carhartt hat on for this one because as a farm kid, this one is really near and dear to my heart. I think farm families, Midwest families, this whole thing is a lot easier for them. Number one, they understand the value of learning from those that come before them and leaning on them. And then they're just willing to be a helper. They're willing to be a mentor. They're willing to always very much so, lend a hand up to those who need it as well. And they don't need to be asked. They don't need to be paid. There is just such a community and a mentorship, really kind of DNA code within farmers. And I grew up that way. I was blessed to have some amazing mentors in my early ages, starting with my father. And better believe I wore Carhartt all the time, not just to go to the coffee shop, like people love to wear their Carhartt nowadays, but to actually get stuff done. So 4 ways to get the most out of your mentor. Here is number 1. Come prepared to be mentored. Ask good questions, which is the same thing as saying, don't ask dumb questions. Don't ask questions just for the sake of questions. Put some thought into it. Do some mental preparation. Do some studying. Do some learning on your own before you show up in the front row of that seminar, before you show up talking to the mentor in the hallway afterwards, before you go forward. And heck, if you're going to pay a mentor, you better really triple down on this number 1 move to get the most out of your mentor, which is to show up with good questions. One of the reasons I think I've always been a good student is I really pride myself on having myself already on second or third base with having done a lot of the work, having figured out a lot of the process and the system before I show up and even ask the question. I only need the final piece of the answer. I only need the final refinement or the clarity. What I find in reverse, people who really struggle and they don't grow, even if they have the same mentor, is they don't ask good questions. They don't do the legwork on their own first before they show up. They're just sitting plopped on the bench and hoping that the mentor is going to go up, drag them out there and get them going. That's not how it works. You've got to get yourself going. And what a good mentor is after you ask good questions is a significant nitrous boost to the momentum you already built yourself. Number 2 move you can make to get the most out of your mentor is to immediately do the work that they've laid out before you. They're going to give you the blueprints. They're going to give you the guide, the framework, the structure, whatever you want to call it. But they can't do the work for you. They'd be a horrendous mentor. You'd be a terrible parent if you're constantly doing the work for your children. You've got to give them the direction. You've got to give them the directions. So send them in the right direction and then give them the instructional manual. But they got to do the work. And the earlier and the faster you can do the work that the mentor tells you to do or sends you with kind of marching orders to do, the more you can find out if they were right. Do not ponder and do not question whether your mentor was right. The only way to answer the question whether your mentor was right for you or not is for you to actually do the work. So hurry up and get the work done. Number 3, I love this one. Not everybody does. Be ready for this one. Be okay if the mentor you choose continues to kick your ass. Now, if you're competitive, this is going to be a tough one. And in fact, if you're competitive, you'll get the most out of this one. So keep listening here. You have to be okay with always being the smallest fish in the room. In fact, you want to be. What I strive for is to surround myself with mentors and friends who are absolutely crushing me. Their mindset and their perspective is so much more bigger and cleaner than mine. Their strategy and their ability to get on the whiteboard and see things, to build things out and then get them done, better than mine, faster than mine. I love those people the same amount as I loathe them because I am driven to be one of them. And so what I've always done is I've always sought out to have a mentor who was way bigger than me in business, in life, whatever it is that they're doing. If I'm looking for relationships or whatever it is, hey, they've got the best out there and I want to learn from them. Now, here's the asterisk. Here's the caveat. There's going to be certain seasons in life for your mentors where they're going to slow down or they're going to change directions. And if your mentor slows down and changes directions and is not doing here, number 3, they're not kicking your ass anymore. If your practice, your business, your life gets bigger than the mentor who got you there, you're going to have to get up and get moving and find a different mentor. And I've had to do this a couple of times in my life, and it's not always easy. And I've had only two scenarios where even as I've outgrown this mentor, then it didn't end well. And I want to paint these pictures. This is an inward point to number 3 here. One time, the reason it didn't end well is because I was a total pretentious moron a-hole. And I treated that mentor the only time in my life, literally one of these times, I've treated a mentor like crap. And that was 1,000,000,000% my responsibility. I was young, I was dumb, and I got all too peacocked out. And I really treated this chiropractor who was so important to me early in my career, poorly. And as soon as I realized it, not too long later, just literally a couple of months, and I read my words and I looked at the actions I took, I literally called him up and apologized profusely. And I still apologize, probably to his annoyance, every single time I see him 10 plus years later. Now, the second time that it didn't work out, where I don't get to still have this great relationship with a mentor that I outgrew, is because they took it differently. They were the ones who maybe didn't handle it with grace and didn't handle it really well. Now, if that occurs to you, there's nothing you can do, okay? Don't change the way you seek out mentors and take care of mentors. And that really, no matter even if it didn't end well, and that segues us to the fourth and final point of how to get the most out of your mentors. And then here's the subtitle. It's point number 4, how to give the most back to them as well. Number 1, number 2, number 3 are how you give the most back to your mentor. Your mentor wants you to kick their ass. A good mentor, I love coaching and training and mentoring young students and startups and our associates that go and open their practices. I get pissy if they don't beat me and don't get there faster. But at the same time, the job of them doing that is never going to be easy because I am not slowing down. So I'm in that number 3 zone as well. But number 4 matters the most. Always give gratitude. Always give endless props and gratitude for the rest of your life to the mentors that have come before you. If you're in any of my trainings or seminars online, you will hear the names of people like Dr. Elbert, my first chiropractor in undergrad, Dr. Mike Cody, where I did my internship, and Dr. Cody is the name you'll hear the most, who taught me so much about clinical and just unbelievable chiropractic wizard. Dr. Fletcher, all of these folks, Dr. Gentempo, Dr. Billy DeMoss, Dr. Troy Dukowitz was an early coach of mine, Keith Mall, some of these people that really Keith taught me business early on. These are people whose names you will hear come out of my mouth with unbelievable respect, reverence, and gratitude. And whoever your mentors are, do the people that are on your team right now know who they are? Do the people that you're going to mentor one day, do they know their name? Now, I may sound like I'm splitting hairs, but one of the biggest tells of the character of a person is how they take care of their mentors and those that come before them. If you use the word I in the context that you figured it all out on your own, you're lying to everyone else and you're lying to yourself. The truth is, even though I can't say the word we've been able to do so much with PwC and the pediatric experience, there's a singular reason, because God has put so many incredible mentors before us. Now, maybe I took this one thing Dr. Cody taught and I put my own little spin, my own little juice on it. He got me there. Maybe Dr. Fletcher was scanning and interpretation. Maybe I was able to apply it to pediatrics and perfect storm kiddos with a little extra detail and a little extra importance. He got me there. He put me on the tee. He was the one that built the structure, built the system, and was able to get me to the point to take it further, which is always the point of mentorship. That's what they want for you. That's what you want from them. And one day there will be people that is who you get to give it to as well. Really, that's the beautiful part of life. If you really think about it, we are usually simultaneously getting mentored and mentoring someone else. That's why I wanted to rock this video, the 4 ways to get the most out of your mentor, but also to make sure you're giving the most back to your mentor and to those that you will future and one day mentor as well. We love this topic. We love the art of mentorship, and we take it seriously. If you need to be mentored in a pediatric prenatal and a family practice model, and you just haven't had that person who's done it before you, has the blueprint, and then will hold you accountable to get the work done, then the Pediatric Experience community, where I'm lead guide, and there's many other effective guides on the team, and just an incredible community, is the place for you. If you need a pediatric chiropractic mentor, we'd love to be that. Hope this video helped. Comment below. Please share it with someone you know will love it. We'll see you on the next one.